News to Point.
Hi, everybody. Welcome inside Studio B on this beautiful Tuesday in the nation's capital. It is great to have you with us today. Our first guest this time has served as interim police chief in Prince George's County for just about a year. Nominated to serve in an interim capacity last December, he was confirmed by the county's council with no dissent over the summer. Mark Magaw is a 27-year veteran of the force, and he joins us now. Welcome. It is great to have you here. Thank you,
sir.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
I know Executive Rushern Baker wanted very much to see you in this post. Why did you decide to accept?
Well, I've been on this police department for 28 years. This police department is my family. I love this community. And when I sat down and spoke to Mr. Baker about where we wanted to go with the police department, his vision of the county, it just melded together, and it was the right decision. And I'm very thankful and humble that he is allowing me to do this job.
What was it about his sense of where he wanted Prince George's to go from a crime and public safety perspective and yours? Right. What was it that meshed? What was it that had you guys striking a similar chord? Well,
the initial interview that I had with him, I thought was going to be 30 minutes. It turned out to be 3 hours. And when you sit down with someone that you just get along with right off the bat, I didn't know Mr. Baker until that first interview. But we talked about moving the department forward just as he has a vision to move the county forward, moving the department with it. We're the 29th largest police department in the country, and 500 square miles, 1,520 officers right now. We need to move that as far as the size of the police department. We need to look at, and we've mapped this out already for Mr. Baker, move some of the district stations to better take care of and support the community. And then just all those things, where we needed to be with our federal partners, state partners, he was in complete agreement with, and it's worked out very well.
Some people in all walks of life, police work, media work, whatever, you know, the business world, have a lot of ambition, and they kind of have a goal, sometimes way out into the future. Other people not so much, of course. Fair to say that being chief was never on your radar as something you were kind of fighting for or clawing as the culmination of a career's work.
Well, when Mr. Baker asked me had I thought about being the chief of police, I told him that everything I've done in my career has led me to that point, but I never let myself think about that I could be the chief. I just wanted, wherever I was at the time, to do the best job I could, no matter where it was, and things worked out.
Talk about some of the initiatives that you've tried to bring about. Now that you are the #1 law enforcement officer in the county, and you have the ability to shape policy in a significant way. Well,
one of the first things we did with Mr. Baker is, like I said, we looked at where district stations need to be. We've got those not actually in the yearly budget, but in the CIP, which is a process to get it into budget in the future. Moving district stations, District 7 is coming online, will be built in 2012. It'll be up and running 2013. Moving District 5, moving District 6 to better support the community. But also, at the very beginning of the year, I gave him a proposal for 1,800 officers. That's really where we need to be. Actually, we probably need to be 2,000.
Up from 1,500 and change?
Yes, yes. But as an interim, 3 weeks into the job, when I gave him the proposal, I didn't think I could push for 2,000 at that point. But we agreed on 1,800. Mr. Baker, his focus is public safety, education, economic development. They all go hand in hand. And he agreed to help us get to 1,800. 3 classes a year for 2012. We have those in the budget, and I expect to have them in 2013. So that was the beginning. One of the big pieces is repairing relationships at a federal and state level. We have more task force officers now at the federal level than we ever have, with ATF, DEA, FBI, which makes a significant difference in how we police the county and the resources that we bring to the community.
Is the county ready, from your perspective, to deal with the unexpected, whether it's a student gathering that goes off the tracks after an athletic win, a, God forbid, a 9/11 situation where there might be agencies working with one another, as we saw very much in the fall of 2011. To what extent are you meeting with agency heads from other agencies and thinking about the challenges that present themselves when large unexpected things occur.
Right. And I think when you look at those types of things, you need to look at all perspectives. Municipalities, we meet once a month. We have a call-in once a week to discuss crime issues. State, I had a conversation with Superintendent Brown yesterday. They're very involved in our holiday initiative. With the federal partners, we meet. I had a meeting with them, all of them, last week with Congressman Hoyer in reference to Prince George's County and making sure that we're getting the resources we need to take care of the community. So I think at 9/11 was a good example. We had the FedEx game going. I called Baltimore Field Office FBI because I thought the right decision was to ask for some assistance from the FBI, which they gave anything we needed, which was great. So that's where relationships come in, and getting to know the special agent in charge of all these offices, to where you can make a personal phone call and talk freely about what your needs are and what your goals are. So
there's a lot of geography. There's a lot of land mass that your officers have to cover. And I know the focus is on people, of course, but when you're covering a geographically large area, as Prince George's is, I wonder, does it make it hard to do community policing? And are you a believer in that, or has police work moved on from that notion that officers can have relationships with people, that they can know people in the community beyond the universe of bad guys that they might interact with on a regular basis? Can you have large areas, large beats, lots of distance to travel? Sometimes it's officers complain, you know, they're running call to call and they don't have time to do foster relationships in the community. Can you talk about that aspect of it?
Community policing is vital to what we do. I don't know how we police without it. We're only as good as our relationship with the community, plain and simple. And we've built those relationships and continue to build those relationships. I just started a Chiefs Advisory Council, and out of each district, I asked for 3 representatives that represent that district, that understand some of the issues, that can bring this to me. I also have representatives from the NAACP, from Casa de Maryland, and from our Citizen Alumni Association. Community policing, though, is critical. It's the core of what we do. Without it, we can't serve this community. So it will always be the core, while I'm here, of what we do.
In terms of the Secure Communities program, some people say if a law enforcement official comes in contact with a person whose immigration status is uncertain, or maybe they shouldn't be in the country, it's crazy to sort of have them, if you will. Maybe it's a traffic stop or what have you. It's crazy to have them and let them go. I've heard other chiefs say that my job is to have good relationships with the people who are here, and if they're scared of the police, then every little traffic stop becomes a potential flight, a potential chase. You have potential crime victims who are afraid to stand up for themselves and say, I'm being beaten by my spouse, or whatever the situation is. How do you view this complicated issue?
Secure Communities is a federal program, and it really is a federal issue. As far as I'm concerned, in our community, we have a large Latino community that we work very well with, that we're very supportive of. My position is, and with Casa de Maryland, who's an advocate for the Latino population, we have great working relationships with them. The people who are in our communities, we're not looking for immigration status. If you're in the community, we're going to serve you. We're not asking what the immigration status is. So it's a much bigger issue than that. But from a police department standpoint, people that live within our community are our constituents, and we serve them. And I do have issues that if people are afraid of the police, they won't call the police. And we can't have that on any level.
That could be a woman who's being beaten, a person who's being beaten by a spouse, another crime victim, whatever.
Exactly.
Someone who, or someone who runs because they see a police officer behind them, even if they haven't done anything.
Right. And that's just not unacceptable from my perspective. To have someone in fear of the community or the police department, and that's why we've worked so hard in community policing.
What do you do to stay kind of in touch with people in the community? Your day could probably be taken up with meetings and reading reports, writing reports, political stuff, and all the rest. What do you do to break out of any bubble that a chief might find themselves in?
Usually every morning or every evening. I've got 3 appointments this week in the evenings with I have the Citizen Advisory Council on Thursday. Tomorrow morning I'm in the District 3 Coffee Club to go speak to the community there. I've got to be out in the community. If I'm not talking to community leaders, I need to get a pulse of what's going on every day, and that's what I try to do internally with our officers, but also especially with the citizens in the community to make sure I understand what the priorities are.
Would there be any aspect of your interaction with the public that would surprise us? I mean, do you occasionally pull somebody over? Do you do traffic stops? Is there any aspect of your life that would surprise us?
Oh, I doubt that. I mean, I'm out and about and backing people up. I mean, I'm in the districts quite often.
So if an officer asks for backup, you might show up?
If I'm in the area, sure. Because you're a policeman first, and I think that's important for every official on the police department to realize that our job is to serve, and as you go further up in rank, your service needs to be more. You serve the people in the community, but also the people that are under your charge.
Talking with Prince George's County Police Chief and Policeman Mark Magaw. We'll take a break here. We'll come back with more News Talk after this.